Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Denny Directo, and my beautiful co-host here, Deidre Behar. We are here to talk about every viral moment, the best speeches, basically the most talked about moments from the 70th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards, which, Deidre, I'm going to rename the Marvelous Mrs. Emmy.
Oh, it's a hot fire take. I love it.
Because
it was a good night for that show.
It was a great night for the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. They took home the top prize of this year's Emmys, guys. Best comedy. It's their first season out, and they already took home the big one. With a bang, right?
So good, and well-deserved.
Well-deserved. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later, guys. There were a lot of first-time Emmy winners.
I love it.
But first of all, initial reactions of the show.
Happy for a lot of the shows that I thought deserved recognition. Happy for a lot of the actors that I thought deserved recognition. Overall, I'm a little meh.
It was a little boring. And oh my God, my button just popped, guys.
It's okay. We just
That's how excited we are.
We ate a lot of catering.
We just had a lot of catering. Literally, button just flew this way.
And full disclosure, no Spanx today. So here we are.
But you know what? I'm not the only wardrobe malfunction from the Emmys. In fact, Alex Borstein.
And well done, yes.
Who took home the Emmy for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. I don't know if you guys saw, but when she went to go accept her trophy, she took off her little thing. Took off a layer, excuse me, to go accept that trophy. Anyways, guys, like we said, a lot of first-time Emmy winners. We do want to know what you guys think of the Emmys, by the way, so please leave us your comments below. But you know what? An old favorite took home Best Drama. I don't know if it's a little show. Have you guys heard of it? Game of Thrones? That's right.
I missed them.
You did miss them, right?
I did, yeah, because they weren't in contention last year.
Correct.
So they're back this year. This show it speaks for itself. Yeah. It is a monster in and of itself. And I think Peter Dinklage's win again, so well deserved. He is a force on screen. And they're ending. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a nice way to kind of build momentum before the show says goodbye forever.
And speaking of momentum, they came in with the most nominations of any other show this year. But I know that a lot of people were rooting for Handmaid's Tale to maybe make a repeat, right, to win Best Drama. But Game of Thrones coming in right there for their penultimate season. There's only one more season of this, and something tells me they're going to sweep next year too.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right.
But you really never know. There were a lot of shows this year that it was their last opportunity to win.
Absolutely.
Thrilled to see Claire Foy win her last opportunity. I was rooting for Kerry Russell, though. Of course, the Americans, it was their last go at it.
Yep, totally. But it was exciting because, again, there were a lot of first-time nominees. But let's get to the open of the show.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, Michael Che and Colin Jost from SNL were the hosts. But the evening opened with a musical number, star-studded musical, because what is TV without some cameos and guest stars, right?
Yeah.
Ricky Martin, John Legend, Sterling K. Brown, Kenan Thompson, Kristen Bell, even RuPaul made a quick little appearance. They hit the stage to joke that the diversity issue in Hollywood is fixed. We did it.
Yeah, you know, I think they did a really good job of using humor to tackle a serious issue. They picked the right people. I thought even people who are not particularly diverse, like a Kristen Bell or a Kate McKinnon, they had the right sense of humor about it. This was the highlight of the opening for me. I preferred this to the monologue that we saw.
100%. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to say it, guys. I felt like Michael and Colin were a little bit of a snooze fest. And so the best part about that opening number is what they were in it. Honestly, right?
Yeah. You know, Michael and Colin are bright and articulate.
Absolutely.
They do the Weekend Update fabulously. I think there's a huge difference between doing the SNL Weekend Update and hosting a live award show.
100%.
And
that showed tonight.
It did. And they did a fine job. It's just I don't have any moments that really come to the forefront of my mind about, oh, that was so funny. Whereas Jimmy Kimmel always slays me. You know?
And that's the thing. That's what's so tough about hosting these award shows is because you're really not supposed to be the point of the entire night.
No, it's not about you.
It's not about you. You're supposed to move it right along. But you also look for those funny moments or those magical moments that you remember, right? The ones that people are tweeting about that you talk about the next day. And I feel like we were missing that from Michael and Colin.
Look, the last award show that you and I recapped was the MTV Video Music Awards. And I felt like we were just firing on all cylinders being like, oh my gosh, this moment.
Right.
Whereas tonight I was kind of like, ooh, we should take to Twitter and see if we missed anything, because nothing was really kind of just presenting itself.
And look, we're not alone here. No. Sal, we see you. You're saying it was not funny and boring. LOL. We agree with you. Mega Movie says, I'm sad the Americans or This Is Us didn't win Best Series, but I am happy for Game of Thrones as that was my third choice. Yeah. I want to know how you guys did on your Emmy ballots, though.
How did you do?
Bad.
Me too.
I did terribly.
Horrendously.
But I will say, ETonline got it right. Got a lot right, I should say, based on our predictions that we talked about on Friday. Leanne, who joined me on Friday to predict who will win, who should win, she cleaned up. So I should have followed her lead on that one. You know?
We went with our hearts. We voted with our hearts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like we mentioned, guys, a lot of first-time Emmy winners. So I want to get to this part real quick because what was exciting in the lead comedy acting categories was it went to two people for their first season on the first show. Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Bill Hader for Barry. Again, freshman series. Coming out swinging out of the gate though.
Loved both of these choices.
Oh yeah.
First of all, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, amazing acting, but an amazing show for so many different reasons. Women being a boss during a time when you weren't supposed to be a boss. This show is speaking to our current sociological climate, which I really appreciated. Bill Hader, Barry, total reinvention of his career.
Yes.
Like, loved him on SNL, kind of was lingering. This show, I feel like, has really elevated him, and tonight took him to a new level.
And I feel like also he was so deserving back in the SNL days that finally the Emmy rewarded him for something, you know?
Fun.
I mean, right, exactly. No, he had a good SNL run, but it is kind of amazing to see him lead this series. He also helped create and produce it, and now he's getting recognition as this actor. I think it's brilliant. You know, also got to give a shout out to their co-stars who are also first-time Emmy winners. We had.
Isn't that cool how that worked out? Yeah, I love that.
That's when I knew Mrs. Maisel might take the Outstanding Comedy Series
when
award.
Both ladies won.
They were cleaning up and directing and writing and stuff like that. I know a lot of folks are saying This Is Us was robbed. Don't worry, they're not going anywhere. I think
far from it.
Far from it.
Yeah, that show is for sure here to stay. And again, like I don't want to sound like, you know, awards are not everything.
Right.
You're allowed to have your favorite show you want to binge. You're allowed to have your favorite actor that you want to love. Just being decorated with awards isn't everything. It's nice, but it's not everything.
And come next week, you know we're also going to be tuning in to season 3 of This Is Us.
Always,
and listen, the cast tease, it's going to be an emotional one. I know that's no surprise to you guys, but they actually gave us a lot of scoop on what we can expect from this first episode. Those interviews are up on etonline.com.
Yes.
All right, guys, moving right along. In the drama acting categories, Claire Foy from The Crown and Matthew Rhys from The Americans both took home their first Emmy as well. And again, for roles that, it was for The Americans last season and the last time that Claire will be playing Queen Elizabeth in The Crown, because of course they're doing a time jump.
Right.
So someone else is cast as Queen Elizabeth.
Right. I think it's a wonderful way to mark leaving an amazing show.
Right.
Would have loved to have seen Kerry Russell win, you know, to be with Matthew. Would have been nice, but both Claire and Matthew, very well deserved. Gotta say, I was a Sandra Oh kind of girl.
Oh, I was. If she would have won today, she would have been the first Asian American to win in the lead actress category, which would have been amazing to see. But she, just the fact that she was nominated in that category was history in itself.
But see, now I'm going to contradict myself, and I'm going to say winning is everything, because I think Sandra Oh should have won. Can we hashtag justice for Sandra Oh? This woman
she could do
is
anything.
unbelievable.
Her comedic timing today when she presented, I was like, host the show, please.
Hashtag justice for Sandra Oh.
Oh my God. You know who else would have been a great host, as we saw tonight? RuPaul and Leslie Jones. They presented together.
They could host my Friday night at Applebee's, and it would be truly mesmerizing. I want them to narrate my life. They are who we should truly get rallying for next year.
I'm with you, because also, as we've seen on Twitter, Leslie Jones, anytime she watches anything, she's live tweeting it, and she's watching it just like the rest of us. I would have loved to see her host the show. Still, though,
Leslie and Chrissy Teigen would be a great, phenomenal choice.
I mean, we love Chrissy Teigen. As we've learned. But can we talk about RuPaul for a second?
Please.
Guys, this is amazing. RuPaul's Drag Race took home the Emmy, the big one for Outstanding Reality Competition Series.
Big moment.
Taking it from The Voice. The Voice has won in the last few years, and Ru, of course, has taken home the Outstanding Reality Host Emmy the last 2 or 3 years, but this is the first time the series as a whole won it, which I thought was amazing for its 10th season.
I get so nostalgic when I think of RuPaul. I've been a fan of his music and his work as an actor. Brady Bunch, big fan from the 90s. And to see so much tenacity in somebody like him, who has persevered, and he's a pioneer, he has conceptualized television shows.
Right.
And more than anything, it's just such a beautiful commentary on inclusion and celebrating all different walks of life. I thought his win was one of the highlights of my night for sure.
And of course, he served us one of his iconic lines from the show, which, as you said, everyone needs to hear. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else?
It's so true.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay.
We needed to hear that tonight.
Yes.
Please let us know if you were as moved by RuPaul winning as we were.
Jan's
clearly.
saying RuPaul was the best part of the whole show.
Thank you, Jan. I completely
They used
agree.
Ru a lot tonight.
You know, Ru also won at the Creative Arts Emmys. I think the fact that he's like kind of cleaning up here, it's a moment. It's a movement.
And honestly, you're right. It's more than a moment.
It's a movement.
Absolutely. And a long time coming. I mean, we're talking about the
Yes.
10th season of the show.
Yes.
And now everybody watches it.
It
You know
it
what I mean?
used to be your little friend over on the Logo channel. Now it is like your glamorous sister on VH1.
And if you're not watching it, you need to. So when it comes back, guys, you need to tune in. It's that good.
Don't you just watch it and feel like
100%. I get up on my feet. I'm happy. It's an amazing show.
it serves me everything I need?
All right, you guys, I see a lot of love coming in for Darren Criss. He also took home his first Emmy for American Crime Story for Saatchi. You know, Darren had such a touching speech.
Yeah, he really did.
Right? He obviously was, he also obviously did his homework, which I appreciated. He knew exactly who he wanted to thank. He said, to my cast, I'm going to thank you in person. I'm sorry. I'm going to save this moment for my family. And it was such a sweet moment. You know, this.
Well, because it's true. You obviously want to thank the people who made this moment possible, your cast and your crew.
Right.
But think about who's been ride or die with you, taking you to auditions as a child, cheering you on when you got roles, and helping you when you got rejected. This industry can be so brutal.
Yeah.
And what he said about his fiance made me tear up a little bit.
You roll down the windows and turn up music in my life. You know that feeling when you're riding in your car, you're rolling down your window, turning
What a
up the
metaphor
music.
is that? That was
It was
straight poetry.
It was poetry. It was so Darren Criss, because we know he's a talented musician. Like, I was so
Yeah.
here for that moment, and his fiance was clearly kind of overcome with that. She got a little choked up.
Started
it was awesome.
from Glee, now we hear.
And that kiss. And the kiss he laid on her right when he accepted his trophy, when he's walking up
There's
there.
a lot
I
of
was like,
passion there.
Come on. It's one of those like once in a lifetime moments. You kind of have to own it, and Darren did.
I
Yeah,
loved it. There
loved
was
it.
so much love in the air tonight.
Can we talk about one of the most viral moments of the entire night?
I'm still shaking because, you know, I'm still fresh off my engagement.
That-
I got engaged
that's
a few
right.
I
Show off your rock.
I got engaged a few months ago.
Show off your rock.
No, there's nothing to show off.
I wanna see.
But I am just a big pile of mush. And I think an award show like this can be very formal in many ways, and seeing something as human as just a lovely proposal.
Come on, guys.
It kind of humanizes the night a little, correct?
I really felt like it was a genuine moment in the telecast.
was.
One that everybody saw. Look at Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones' reaction to that surprise proposal is our reaction to that surprise proposal. I mean, it really was something else, and I see a lot of you guys saying that was maybe the best part of the evening. Tanya from Facebook. Yeah, the rest was kind of boring, but this was the first moment where I even got up on my feet.
Well, because, again, back to the VMAs, we weren't expecting all those crazy moments that happened there. This was my one, like, VMA moment that I wasn't expecting, completely got me out of my seat. If you were here at the ET office, you know that everybody was just kind of at their computers, and when this moment happened, we all shot up and we all started screaming, and just because love makes you feel that way, right?
100%. And because it really was one of those surprise moments that you don't expect. You know, it's not scripted.
No.
It's so genuine, and plus, like,
just lovely.
Yeah, you know, and there was a time 2 years ago at the Oscars where we were like shook over the La La Land mix-up. Now we're shook over love.
Thank
and someone doing
you.
a proposal. The person, by the way, is Glenn Weiss. He directed the Oscars. He had just won directing a variety special, and he basically was like, you know, he's telling his girlfriend, the reason why I don't call you my girlfriend is because I want to call you my wife. And that's when the whole room erupted. Erupted. I mean,
It's just, it brought some.
Absolutely.
So hats off to them for really kind of elevating tonight's broadcast.
This is after Glenn dedicated his win to his mom, who apparently had just passed away 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And that ring that he put on, he put a ring on it, belonged to his mother. Yeah, it was a family heirloom.
What a crazy wave of emotions he's feeling in these 2 weeks.
I love
Unbelievable. Congratulations to the couple.
Speaking of crazy emotions, I want to go back to another first-time Emmy winner, guys. Henry Winkler was one of the first trophies handed out tonight, but here's why it was a big moment. It was his first Emmy ever.
Unbelievable.
If you guys can believe this, he was first nominated 42 years ago. He even said this during his speech. It was in 1976 for Happy Days playing the Fonz. That particular Emmy, Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, has literally been something he's been chasing for 42 years, and he finally got it with Barry.
And isn't it such a wonderful thing to think about, that tenacity and that level of commitment to his career? You don't have to quit. You can still win an Emmy at 72
Absolutely.
if you stick with it. And he is just a class act all the way through.
100%.
I was so elated to see that happen.
And he was just as elated when our very own Kevin Frazier talked to him backstage, just literally moments after he claimed that Emmy. Take a look.
I think she has to pee.
Does she have to pee? The excitement of it all.
How am I?
How are you right now?
I am grateful. I am excited. I am happy. My children, I didn't thank HBO. I have to thank HBO.
Okay, yes.
Everybody that works between the roof and the lobby took such good care of us. They took such good care of our show.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I see you guys are like so stoked.
Standing ovation
for Henry Winkler.
For this legend.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the Fonz as a kid watching like Nick at Night reruns on TV Land.
Yeah.
And to see that he is still just as relevant in his career at 72, it truly inspires me. It
and
really
just
does.
as funny.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
He's and the way that he speaks, you can tell he's just such a good dad, such a good human, a good person. He was so quick to thank Bill Hader. He said, "Don't run, no, don't walk, run if you have the chance to work with Bill Hader." I love when people lift each other up and support each other like that.
Sylvia from Facebook saying Henry Winkler was the best part of the night. Jamie from Facebook absolutely loved the engagement. It was very real.
True.
And then let's see, Elaine from Facebook, the gentleman who proposed was the highlight of the show. I'm gonna have to say
wow.
that too. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. You have all these amazing shows, and the highlight, according to you guys, is an engagement.
That'll tell you how the Emmys were.
We need some love.
We needed that.
Yeah.
I will give it up to NBC though. I felt like the show was moving along though.
Well, they did this new structure that I actually kind of really liked.
Where they played the clips.
Clips.
Yeah.
Bring them out. Open it up. Who's the winner?
Who's the winner?
Done.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But you know what's just as entertaining that everybody's talking about on Twitter? Chrissy Teigen, as we know.
As always.
As always. You know, at this point, her husband, John Legend, he is an EGOT winner, which means we have literally seen Chrissy at almost every major award show at this point,
Keep it
right?
coming. We need her at every award
Because
show.
why? She has the best facial expressions. The best. And the camera wasted no time cutting to her during the monologue there. Look at her. Always, our Chrissy Teigen. She actually retweeted that tweet right there of her and her, I mean, I don't want to say a double chin, but I mean, it is kind of unflattering.
You know, if you follow her on Instagram,
she's
she
self-deprecating.
is self-deprecating to no
For
end.
sure.
She is no stranger to making a silly face, a weird face, no makeup.
Right.
I just love that she's never afraid to be the funny girl in the room. She's a supermodel, but she's not afraid to do like a double chin or anything like that. And that's what makes her relatable.
Well,
and
it's
hilarious.
relatable because she's also like reacting. You know, some people in the
Stoic.
audience are like mannequins. You know, she's like, man, like no, I don't want to do that. She actually retweeted that photo and was just like, this is a setup. Boosting ratings. We were just trying to get a good Chrissy Teigen reaction in the audience for, you know, to liven up the crowd a little bit, liven up the mood.
Just because John's an EGOT does not mean that they need to stop going to award shows now. We just got to keep having our Teigen fix. Or sorry, our Teigen fix.
Right.
Did you guys see that?
Well,
her last name is actually Teigen.
That's what she claims, but
Yeah.
John told us on the red carpet
It's
that
okay.
please keep pronouncing it wrong. It's Teigen. It's fine. And that interview is also up on
ETonline.com.
Another great audience reaction came from Brian Tyree Henry. This is during the open monologue when Colin and Michael were saying that, you know, the diversity in Hollywood has been fixed. In fact, now there's going to be a white-only version of Atlanta, which Brian is a co-star on Atlanta. He wasn't having it.
No.
He was not having it.
No, and you're right. You could just be stoic and be kind of like, he made his opinion very
He's like,
clear.
we don't
This
need
joke,
that.
next.
It was
Thank
a joke,
you.
though. I think it was all in good fun. Speaking of Atlanta, though, did you guys catch this?
This was crazy.
Donald Glover was in the audience as his Atlanta character, his kind of creepy character, Teddy Perkins. I mean, full white prosthetics right there. That is Donald Glover. If you blink, you wouldn't miss him. Right there.
Look at that.
Can you believe that?
I think it's great. It was like a little fun Easter egg that only if you knew, you knew.
I
you know
missed
what
it
I mean?
until people on Twitter it was all over my feed. And they
Yeah.
pointed it out. I was like, oh my God, you guys are right.
So you know he's got a full prosthetics special effects squad on
backstage.
site. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because then honestly, then he came back and he was in normal like tuxedo,
Totally.
looking like himself, Donald Glover. I mean, literally, look at it right there. That is so insane. This is during the when Bill Hader beat him in the Outstanding Actor in a Comedy Series category.
What a way to keep the camera still on you.
But that's what makes me think like I wish he won. I would have loved to hear what he had to say as his character.
In that, yeah.
Wouldn't that have been so funny?
You know what? Donald Glover is having a Donald Glover renaissance at the moment. He is going to have plenty of opportunities to win awards. Hopefully we'll get a little more Teddy down the line.
I think so. And when Bill walked up to accept his trophy, he actually went and shook his hand. So he knew.
So Bill was in on it.
Bill was in. And of course, this is the year where they don't put the camera on the nominee as they open the envelope,
Yeah.
of course, right? Remember those like fun Emmys moments with Amy Poehler in the audience doing silly stuff as they were reading the nominees? Like,
yes.
he was waiting for that cutaway, but we had to find him, you know, secretly in the crowd shot. So good work, internet.
Yep. Where's Waldo? Where's Teddy?
Exactly. Guys, I mean, we're just scratching the surface. There's literally so many other moments
So many
that
highlights.
we can't cover today, but thankfully, I will be back tomorrow with another recap of what you didn't see on TV during the Emmys, and also your full fashion recap. I mean, guys, there were so many red carpet looks, a lot of bold. Last year was the Time's Up movement, was the beginning of the Time's Up movement, and Me Too. A lot of people wearing black. We saw a lot of color this year. We're going to talk about it tomorrow.
We're letting the light in.
We're letting the light in, y'all. That's happening tomorrow right here. And of course, guys, we'll keep you up to date. We're at the parties tonight.
Sure are.
We're still breaking out stuff from our backstage one-on-one interviews with all the winners. All of that is on ETonline.com. Deidre, thank you so much.
I can't believe we're almost to the end of award season.
Almost? Well, actually, we get a little break, and then we're going to kick into high gear with everything else,
We sure are. What a fabulous time for television.
It honestly is. I do love the Emmys. You guys, we're going to keep the conversation going here and on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, we'll see you tomorrow live for the Daily Denny and our full Emmys recap. Have a good night.
Bye.